What is up, Impact Nation? Welcome to a quick holiday episode, year-end episode of the Anthem of Impact Wrestling show. I am your host, Jason, as always. And, whew, it's a cold day here in St. Louis, Missouri. As you can see, I'm all bundled up. Yes, no, I do have heat in my house. I don't want anybody worrying about me. But it's cold and I like staying warm. So got my beanie, got my hoodie on. I'm nice and comfortable and I'm warm. And I was sitting here and I've been watching a lot of wrestling, watching a lot of just old stuff. That good old global wrestling network that we have, and just kind of got me in the mood to want to do a quick video here. Kind of bored here today. It's New Year's Eve. It's New Year's Eve day because it's not Eve yet, obviously. But just kind of bored, just kind of sitting around waiting before we start doing stuff later tonight. Going out for a nice dinner with the wife and my parents, and then maybe meeting up with some friends after that, and having many more drinks of the adult beverage variety. Preferably ones that come in a can. Usually yellow in tint. It sounds really weird whenever I describe it that way. But anyway, I hope everybody does get to watch this. I know this is probably a terrible day to upload a video. Probably not going to get a whole lot of views, but I don't care. I just felt like doing it. So the ones that do see this, wish everybody a very happy new year. And this is what this episode is going to be kind of about. Just kind of go over some things of maybe what I like to hope we'll see come 2018 for Impact Wrestling. But first, a little quick thoughts on the past year. It's been a very rocky road, but I'm very thankful for a few things. The women's division, the Knockouts division, I'm very thankful for that. They always, and they will always, keep Impact Wrestling afloat. I think above and all. We had a good run there where they were kind of really playing them up just as big. We've seen a little bit of a drop in that at some point. Even though, we did have an episode not too long ago where it started with the women's match and it main evented with the women's match. So I don't think we dropped that far as the importance and letting them be just as big a main eventers as the guys. But there was a point, where, Mickie James and Tara were main eventing, and Gail was doing her stuff, and the beautiful people were some of the biggest characters on the show, and you had Madison Rayne, right, and you had Taryn Terrell, and you had a lot of people that were just big time. They were big time characters. They were just as big a characters as any of the guys on there. And again, I think we're starting to see that come back. Another thing I'm very thankful for is Ed Nordholm. And let me explain this. Ed Nordholm, I don't care what a lot of people say. A lot of people started crapping on him right away with the whole going back on the Matt Hardy thing or giving in to Jeff Jarrett and all this stuff. I was one that was actually fairly excited to see him bring in Jeff Jarrett because of what Jeff did in the very beginning of Impact. You know what I mean? And I thought what he was starting to get going with Global Force Wrestling, the initial thing, where he got some TV tapings, I thought that also seemed very interesting, and I was willing to give that promotion a shot and also, become a fan of that promotion. Obviously, he never got on TV and everything just started falling apart from there for him. And now I don't care what he does with that Global Force company. I really don't. But I was excited to see what, can we get back to being Impact Wrestling. Really, even though there was a couple years that I did like under the Hogan Bischoff stuff and some things that were interesting, we did get to see a Bully Ray World Heavyweight Championship run, the Aces and Eight things. AJ Styles, who we see today, he would have never have been able to fit in the Bullet Club. He never would have been where he is right now in the WWE if they didn't give him that change, that biker change where he was kind of playing the role of Sting whenever Sting kind of went to his dark side of the NWO stuff. They did the same thing with AJ, and he kind of went darker and quiet and got his longer hair look and everything else. That's what made him seem now cool enough to join a group like the Bullet Club. And of course, that's all she wrote. So there were things that were good under Hogan and Bischoff, but at the same time, it got so far away from, the golden years of about 05 to 08 and 09. Those were kind of the golden years of impact of TNA wrestling, and we got away from that. Probably because we started buying into the fact that we thought, well, the company started buying into the thought that they were bigger than what they were at the time. Instead of keep gradually growing, they wanted to just go, nope, we're going to skip and boom, try to be that big time second competitor to WWE. So I was hopeful for that. I was hopeful for other things. But Ed Nordholm is a smart businessman. He's done a lot of good things with, Fight Network and the Fight app and a couple other companies that they do. They took over Anthem, didn't really know, or they took over Impact Wrestling, didn't really know what they were getting into. I don't think they really knew how they were going to run a wrestling company. But I think one thing that he did realize very quick, what they were doing was not the right way to go. And he was willing to correct it, and he's made corrections. And so, thankful for Ed Nordholm for just being able to admit he made mistakes, he's correcting them, they're doing changes, and we're sliding into the new year going forward with the new creative outlook, maybe a new mission statement, if you will, for the company, and has hired and brought in, made it really small, kind of head top there, with Don Callis and Scott D'Amore. I'm super excited for it. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen starting, hopefully, January 10th. Hopefully we'll get to see at least a decent amount of change right away on that episode. At least enough to make other people that aren't longtime fans like us go, oh, maybe they are. Okay, I could see them changing a little bit. I also want to thank Chris Jericho. I'm thankful for Chris Jericho because he cares enough about professional wrestling as a whole that he took time out of his super busy schedule with Fozzy and his cruise and now his stuff with Wrestle Kingdom going on to call Anthem and the ones in charge of Anthem to kind of just give a vote of confidence for two of his friends to lead this company. So I'm thankful for that. Outside of that, I'm thankful for obviously other little things too, but those are some of the things that, I look back in 2017, and I know a lot of them were fairly recent events, but 2018 would not be looking as bright if it weren't for some of those events happening here at the very end of 2017. So I'm very happy for that. But now, let's look forward to 2018. Man, I can't believe I'm ever saying these dates, by the way. I don't know what anybody else, I'm 32 years old. I'll be 33 here this summer. So people that are around my age, I think will know what I'm talking about. But growing up, in the 90s, you're like, at first you were even thinking the 2000s were weird because obviously I was very young in 1990. You just thought it just kind of for some reason was always going to be 1990 something, right? And then 2000 comes, and then you're 2000. But whenever you were a kid and you watch these sci-fi movies of crazy years and dates, those crazy years and dates are now. So it's really weird whenever you say 2018. Or 2018, and you're like, oh, it's nuts. So it's really cool. But anyway, enough rambling about the year. But looking into 2018, I've always had some wishes, right? I think we all have while watching Impact Wrestling of, man, I wish this was happening. I wish they'd go back to this. I wish this would happen. I wish that would happen. So I figure now's kind of a good time to go over some of these things and what I'd like to see in 2018. And one of them has already happened, because this is something that I've been wanting for a long time, ever since they kind of got away from it. We need at least one, if not two, more live pay-per-views a year. I would love it if they at least went to the quarter, because you don't fall into these weeks of kind of Because even whenever they do the random, big shows, if it, a couple times they've done them where they were taped, and nobody cares because you already know it's already been spoiled. You can't have anything big happen on that. That's why I was pissed. I wasn't pissed that they allowed Gail Kim to win on her way out, even though that's not necessarily how it should be done, as far as like the wrestling business usually works. Usually you go out on your back, and then after the match, then you can get up and everybody can say, "Hey, thank you for what you've done." But they did, but they didn't. They gave it to her. That decision didn't necessarily piss me off. What pissed me off is I knew what was coming. And what was coming was, instead of the next live episode of Impact, she, fights somebody and puts somebody else over and then leaves on her back. No, she just relinquished it, and there was a tournament. I knew that's what was going to happen, and it's exactly what happened. And then the new Knockouts champion was crowned on a taped show. One, that kind of like energy that you get from a live crowd of not knowing what's happening, there's something about it. But whenever it's taped, you already kind of know, like, oh, okay, I know what's going to happen. And most of the time you do get spoiled, because those things get spoiled right away. Even if they don't spoil it in their main tweet, the headline to get you to go look at their article is, title changes at this, at tonight's Impact Wrestling taping. And you're like, well, okay. Oh, the only title that's been on the line is the Knockout? Okay. Well, I know what's going to happen now. You know what I mean? So I knew that was going to happen. That's kind of something that kind of frustrated me. But I want more pay-per-views. There's something to build for now. You can still have like a random, destination. This episode of Impact's called Destination X. You can still have that. But now it forces them, and I know that they were talking about doing shorter taping schedules, which is awesome as well. But if you go with the 4 live pay-per-views, that kind of forces you to do that. And then every pay-per-view can be on the road, could be somewhere new, and then those set of tapings take place there. Or the set of tapings can go ahead and continue to take place in the Impact Zone. You know what I mean? But make sure your live pay-per-views are, somewhere else. You get a different crowd there, a different look. And then maybe have, like, if you're worried about certain type of travel, maybe go. You got your Impact Wrestling pay-per-view. Then you can do a package deal where you still have that next Monday night, or on Tuesday night you have that week's episode, or you wait until Thursday, do a live episode on that Thursday. But if you're not, if you're holding it, you can't really hold like the same place that long. So yeah, I'm cool with Sunday nights of pay-per-view. You have a tape show that Monday night at that same arena. That show will pop up, and then you can head back to Orlando and have, another 3 or 4 nights of tapings to get you to the next possible live episode of something. And then that's kind of like the middle ground of your tapings before your next pay-per-view, and so on and so forth. But we got one, and the rumor is that it's the return of Lockdown, which is awesome. I have always loved that pay-per-view. It's one of my favorite pay-per-views that they've ever done. I think it's a cool concept. I know a lot of people are kind of like, yeah, but it's kind of, like super gimmicky and everything, but that's the whole point of it. That's why I like it. It's different. Also, the fact that they chose Lockdown, to me, hopefully that means that Scott D'Amore and Don Callis are going for more of, maybe not an adult, creatively. They're not going more adult. but they're definitely going to go edgy, and I think that's what they need to do. They've got the whole family thing on lockdown. They got the PG, they got the family, they got the kid friendly stuff. Great. Some of us other wrestling fans that have grown up, we like the edgier stuff, the stuff where they can take more risks. You know, I don't have, like, I'm not blood hungry. Like, I don't have to see a wrestling match and there has to be blood. But the WWE, I mean, there's matches where there should be blood, there should be color, and there's none. So it's like, okay, what's the point of that? I can't invest myself too emotionally into that if there's not a little bit. I'm not asking for people to go diving through glass tables and like crazy stupid stuff. Don't get me wrong. But if you're gonna have like a no DQ match or a street fight or a cage match, there better be like a little bit something, and it doesn't even have to be real blood. It doesn't have to be somebody like they cut themselves. Give them like capsules and they hit. I don't know how you do it, but something. There's gonna be something there to show me that there were stakes involved and that people were getting hurt. For me to really buy into it, because I'm an adult. So lockdown, obviously, awesome, great thing. Now I'm gonna go through each division. I'm gonna break this down by each division, and some wish lists of some people I would like to see Impact Wrestling go after if they really are gonna try to do kind of like an overhaul of the roster in a way, to make themselves really look different. Obviously, there's people on the Impact roster I think they know that they're definitely keeping, they would like to keep. But some people that are out there that I think are definitely available would be awesome to have in Impact Wrestling. And let's start off with the division that I said in 2017 saved Impact Wrestling. I think it's always been kind of the shining light for Impact Wrestling no matter what. And that is the women's division, the Knockouts division. And some people, like right off the bat, I would love to see Tennille Dashwood, formerly known as Emma in the WWE. I think she just fits the Knockout division. Whenever she can be her. She's an amazing wrestler whenever they actually let her wrestle. That's kind of the problem. And like you're seeing it right now in the WWE with women like Becky Lynch and Natalia, women that can actually go in the ring and that can really, really, really wrestle have to dumb down their wrestling ability. One, because I think it's a slower pace and a more kind of simplified version looks better on TV. And two, because they try to push up so many other people that have zero wrestling experience worldwide just within their training facilities that can't do what they can do. So they're just kind of dumbed down and they're not as good. And, Tennille, Emma, for people, I'll keep calling her Emma so then people kind of know who I'm talking about. Emma's one of those people. I think in a knockouts ring when she could go up against, Sienna and Rosemary and Casey Spinelli and depending on how long Madison Rain's sticking around for, Madison Rain. I mean, these are some great matches, and I think she could really, really, really impress some people. And I think she would really capture the hearts of Impact, of the Impact Nation, of Impact Wrestling fans, and people I think would really get behind her. That's kind of like my main one that I would really like to see, to be honest. Some other ones are Toni Storm. She's I believe a UK wrestler, I think. I know she wrestles over there a lot, but I can't remember. Kind of bad, even though I said that I want her over. I've seen a little bit. I've heard of her like a little bit. I have to admit, I did get to witness her a lot, mainly in that Mae Young Classic, and then since then I've watched her in some other stuff. She's really good. It's got a great look to her. And I think it's another person that they could bring in that has a little bit of a name. That, if she showed up, people aren't going, huh? You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't know who, because you couldn't make it a big deal. They keep, which is fine that they bring in some people that they can kind of mold and make their own characters. But somebody like Ava Story or MJ Jenkins, again, they were both good. Actually, even Diamante. yeah, they've all been wrestling on the independent scene. They've kind of had a name, but they're not like the bigger name people. So whenever they come in, they kind of have to start from scratch. Like there's no impact to them coming in, which again is fine. I feel like for a wish list, I need people that have a big name that could come in, make an impact with their debut, and really kind of set. I mean, it's gonna be very hard for Impact Wrestling to find anybody to come in that would, kind of put the wrestling world on fire. Oh my God, Impact got this person. I think there's only a select few people out there that could happen with. But I think Tony Storm would be a good pickup for the Knockouts. Some other names: Veda Scott. Again, she's got a big name around her. I think she's really good. Again, I don't know how many of these women actually have any type of contract with the Ring of Honor's Women of Honor stuff. I don't even know if they have contracts. I don't know what it is. Like I think every once in a blue moon, Women of Honor's on their, is shown in place of Ring of Honor's weekly show. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that stuff. But another one that I've seen over there who's super impressed me, and she's got a great look, great, just stature about her, Kelly Klein. And then of course I put this one last because this is kind of like a no-brainer because there's been a lot of rumors about her probably coming in, like it's probably definitely happening come January, or if not in the March tapings, and that's Tessa Blanchard. Obviously, that would be probably in my eyes the biggest indie get, would be Tessa Blanchard. I think Emma still ranks above her a little bit as far as that would be the biggest impact would be Emma, and then probably Tessa Blanchard would be like that next biggest name that could come in and people would take notice. Next, we'll go over the X Division. Will Ospreay. Okay, I don't know again what's his deal going on with like New Japan or anything else, but Will Ospreay obviously would be awesome to see in the X Division. He is somebody I could see also move up different divisions. Ricochet. If we were able, which again I know a lot of these guys are rumored to be going to NXT, but everybody's rumored to be NXT. We're Impact Wrestling fans. I think we know that that's not always correct. So again, Ricochet. Again, Ricochet could be that guy. You throw him in the X Division just initially, because I don't think he would ever. You can't bring him in and just throw him into the world title scene, even because he wouldn't be coming in as Puma. Right? He wouldn't be coming in as Prince Puma. He'd be coming in as Ricochet. And when has Ricochet fought for a World Heavyweight Championship anywhere else? Hasn't happened. Just Lucha Underground as Prince Puma. I'm not saying he can't do that. I think he can. But you can't just bring him in and throw him in the World Heavyweight Championship scene whenever you got guys right now like Johnny Impact and Del Rio, Eli Drake. You should probably move EC3 up there, Moose up there. You got Eddie Edwards. That's already pretty, loaded up. You could start him off in the X Division because that's the best way you can showcase his skills and really introduce him on a bigger stage. Then you can move him probably to that Grand Championship. Hopefully they are getting rid of that and get, a different one. Maybe, just do another like U.S. title or a TV title or something. Or even call it the Grand Championship still, the Grand title. Just change it. You know what I mean? Like, just to get rid of the rules, because I think you need that secondary belt to really, push somebody. And if anybody hasn't seen my how I book it, the rebranding of Impact, I had a couple thoughts on how they should go after that Grand Championship. I would say change it to a TV, and I have a good idea on what they should do with the TV title. Go check that video out. If you haven't seen it, you should, because it's good. Anyway. Then finally, I pick Ray. Wait for it. Phoenix. You thought I was gonna say Mysterio Jr. No. No, I would love to see Rey Mysterio in Impact, but he's kind of getting up there in age, and I don't think he would be in Impact for the long haul. I just think he'd show up in Impact because he's friends with a lot of people that are at Impact. I think that ship's kind of sailed. I think he's kind of willing to go back to WWE now and kind of finish off his career and kind of, finish what he started there the right way instead of the way it ended before. But no, I want Ray Phoenix, man. Ray Phoenix is absolutely amazing. He's great in Lucha Underground, obviously. He's great all over the world, killing it on the indies with his brother, Pentagon Jr. I don't know what Pentagon goes by on the indies. It's like Pentam 0MLM or something. I don't know. But Pentagon Jr. is his brother, and they're killing it. I would love to see Pentagon in Impact as well. Wouldn't hate that at all. But he definitely wouldn't be X Division. Pentagon would be up there. I think he could be somebody you could throw up in the world title scene right away, and that'd have a big impact. But I would love to see Ray Phoenix in the X Division. Also for the X Division, just a return, and he's on the roster, and that's Homicide. I'd like to see Homicide actually wrestle again and put him back in the X Division. Tag teams. The number one tag team I want to see actually in Impact Wrestling, I keep bringing it up. I keep bringing it up on Twitter, whether it's under my actual Twitter handle, Anthem of Impact, or my personal one, Chef Jason98. Anytime anybody brings this up. The tag team I would love to see in Impact Wrestling is the Chosen Bros, because then you're getting two of the top guys on the independent scene, Jeff Cobb, Matt Riddle. You start them off as a tag team. You can either break them up later on, or you can have them be good singles and a tag team. You know, you can break them up in a good way, in a bad way, it doesn't matter. But, I mean, if you can get both Matt Riddle and Jeff Cobb, that's insane. That's a home run hit right there. Another one is the return of the Motor City Machine Guns. I don't know, at some point, maybe this year, their contract will be up with Ring of Honor. I don't know. I don't keep up with that stuff. But I would love to see Motor City Machine Guns return to Impact Wrestling and kill it in Impact. And then finally, this one's kind of a long shot, because I actually do kind of think these guys are probably headed to NXT after Wrestle Kingdom, and that is War Machine. I think War Machine in Impact would be really good, because there's no big Hoss tag team right now. And War Machine would be good, because those guys can go in the ring. Like, they're big hosses, but they can fly in the ring. And I think it'd be a really fun tag team to see go up against guys like LAX and, you know, OVE. But to be honest with you, we probably need all three just to get ourselves like a decent, you know, maybe actually get VOW going again and all that stuff. But then we got the heavyweight. I'm not going to do a mid-title, because doesn't matter. We have plenty of people on that roster that could go for that mid-title. Plus, we don't know what. Plus, we don't know what they're gonna do with the Grand Championship. They're gonna change it. So I didn't pick anybody for that. But just some big name guys for the World Heavyweight Championship. Brian Cage, I think, is almost obvious. Go get Brian Cage. And somebody that I wouldn't mind seeing in Impact Wrestling. I watched him at WrestleCade do a pretty good three-way match with Eli Drake and Johnny Impact, and that is Jack Swagger. Of course, he would go by a different name, but it'd be really cool, I think, to have Jack Swagger in Impact Wrestling. Again, it's another name. It's somebody, you know, I wouldn't throw the title on him right away. But for that division, for, you know, the mid-card plus heavyweight, that kind of division, Jack Swagger, I think, would be great. He can go in the ring, and like I said, I saw him at that WrestleCade event, and it was really good. It was actually a very entertaining match, and he did a good job in that match. It wasn't just, you know, Impact and Eli Drake. It was, you know, Jack Swagger had just as many good spots in that match as the other two. So anyway, I'm gonna get up off of here. It's time for me to go get beautified and be ready for when my wife gets home to go out and have our New Year's Eve dinner. But anyway, again, everybody that is actually seeing this video, please have a happy and very, very safe New Year's Eve tonight. Also, have a good rest of the year. Cannot wait to finally review an Impact Wrestling show. We finally get a new episode this Thursday, so on Friday, expect a review video out of this guy. But until then, Impact Wrestling Nation, peace.